to blame the Republicans because he's involved in this type of thing as well. Of course, he bragged about how he's really good at killing. He's got his drone strikes, his open assassination of people, most of them innocent civilians, further inflaming the war. But they say, oh, no, drone strikes don't inflame the war. What would inflame the war would be if we showed you pictures of what we did to prisoners. In 2009, Barack Obama said that it would further inflame anti-American opinion and put our troops in greater danger. That's what his drone strikes do, actually. We need to come clean. We need to put some people in jail. We need to be transparent. The pictures are not the problem. What's happening is the problem. The cover-up of what's happening is the problem. And that's why we need to get these people out. Unfortunately, he's joined by the Republicans and by Congress in covering this up. They don't think you have the right to know what they're doing in your name. Now, in the third hour, we're going to be joined by Dr. Francis Boyle, and he's going to ask some questions about what's going on in Africa in terms of the countries that we're seeing these outbreaks centered in. Why are we seeing so much bioweapons research in those particular areas? Now, he should know because he's written a couple of treaties for the U.S. government, bioweapon, bioterror treaties. He's also written a book on the subject. He's going to be joining us in the third hour. We've had big victories in the information war in terms of nutrition. We can see that reflected in the lower sales figures, the lower profits of fast food companies, of soft drink companies. It was done by the marketplace. It wasn't done by fiat, by edict, like Michael Bloomberg was doing. And interestingly enough, the head of the CDC, Frieden, was his guy. He raised taxes on tobacco from 8 cents a pack to $1.50 a pack. That's 1,875% increase. What happened? Well, he got a huge black market. That's what happens every time you do something like that. It's essentially, prohibition, creating a financial incentive. That's what we see with the war on drugs. Problems like that, if you want to stop people from smoking, if you want to stop them from eating junk food and drinking soda, you don't put bans on everything. You don't ban salt on the table or certain size drinks on the table as the CDC former head did. He can do that, but he's going to ban the trans fats, but he's not going to ban the transnational flights of people who might be bringing in Ebola into this country. That's the absurdity of the nanny state. And the way that you stop this is through education. So we're going to have a couple of special reports from Alex Jones, not only on our victory and nutrition, but also on Ebola. We're also going to have Anthony Gucciardi joining us. And there's a major article that's come out that I really want to focus on. And I don't have enough time to do this. I'm going to do this at the bottom of the hour. This is another Snowden document that's come out. It's actually a slideshow, a training program from Britain's NSA. The GCHQ. Most people didn't even know about that before the Snowden documents shed light on it. But it's got, and this is one of the things, I'll tease this to you. One of the things that they're telling people to do in this is the 4 Ds. Deny, well, we see that a lot from the government, don't we? Disrupt the internet, somebody's web service, their business, their personal life, degrade their personal life, stop their, destroy their company, destroy their personal reputation, and deceive. There you go. That kind of sums up our governments, doesn't it? Deny, disrupt, degrade, and deceive. And so we're going to break that down with you. We're going to show you the slides on that. And there's also an interesting article that we're going to talk about at the bottom of the hour from the Washington Post, pushing back on people looking at the developments here with this Ebola situation, pushing back, calling it a conspiracy, and essentially putting up a straw man argument of a news item that was from a small Liberian newspaper talking about how they believed that the Ebola outbreak in that country wasn't just the natural progression of the disease, but it was being exacerbated in some kind of a false flag with formaldehyde. So we're going to take a look at that. Did that really happen? And what's behind the Washington Post's coverage of that? That's going to be an interesting segment with us. And in the next segment, coming up right after the break, we've got Jakari Jackson. He's going to give us an update as to what's going on with the situation, the shooting in the Canadian Parliament. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, we had shots fired inside the Parliament building after shots were fired at a military memorial there. Reportedly, One person was killed, a soldier, and reportedly the gunman has been shot inside the parliament. We're going to get an update on that right after the break from Jakari Jackson. Stay with us.
Virtually anyone can hack your cell phone and track your calls, your texts, your emails, your every movement, but only if they can detect a signal. Stay one step ahead of hackers and Big Brother with a Block-It Pocket, a custom-made pocket infused with pure silver that creates a complete Faraday enclosure for your cell phone. For free shipping to the lower 48, visit blockitpocket.com or call 888-315-9618. blockitpocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
The experts are clear. Sunlight, purified water, healthy non-GMO food, and having a good attitude is essential to a healthy immune system. But I go further with Super Nascent Iodine X2 from InfoWarsLife.com. 50% stronger than our original and revolutionary Nascent Iodine formula, coming from a deep earth crystal source that no other supplier has. Most other forms of iodine come from seaweed in areas plagued by Fukushima and other contaminants. Not our iodine. It comes from over 200 million-year-old crystal salt deposits and is tested and proven to be completely pure. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today. See the informational videos. Read the information they're compiled. And for a limited time, when you use promo code NOW at checkout, you get an additional 5% off the entire family of InfoWarsLife.com products. Secure your Survival Shield X2 today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
Mike Stenerson from Midas Resources. At no time in history have precious metals been more important, certainly not in my 22 years in the industry. The dollar has lost over 90% of its value in the last 60 years. No fiat currency has ever survived the government printing presses. Ours is not immune. The time is now to be proactive. 1-800-686-2237, extension 116. Anything tied to the dollar is at risk. CDs, annuities, 401ks, IRAs, stocks, bonds, you name it, so decide. Do you want to leave a legacy of wealth or debt for your family? The choice is yours. Call me at 1-800-686-2237, extension 116. That's 1-800-686-2237, extension 116. Be proactive, not reactive. Call 1-800-686-2237, extension 116.
I love a dark house. Inside is all the stuff you work so hard for, and I'm gonna rob you blind.
Don't be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone is inside watching TV and makes your home unappealing to would-be thieves.
Don't these people ever leave?
Starting at $24.95, and there's free shipping. Go to faketv.com or ask for it at your local hardware store. Fake TV, the burglar deterrent.
News flash. Home invasions are on the rise. It takes less than 10 seconds to kick in a door. 10 seconds is not enough time to protect your family. And what would happen if you're not home? Easy Armor is the ultimate security solution. 85% of break-ins are through a door. Protect your home now with Easy Armor. Go to invasionstopper.com to get real security for under $70. That's invasionstopper.com. Easy Armor. Your security is our only business.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight. I'm going to be joined here with Jakari Jackson. In just a moment, he's going to give us an update on what's going on in Canada with the shooting there in the Parliament building. But before we do, I want to let you know about our Super Survival Shield Iodine X2. You can find it on InfoWarsLife.com. You know, when I was looking at the Ebola outbreak, I saw that there were 6 separate monkey outbreaks within labs. We had 3 lab contaminations at different times. There's only been about 32 outbreaks, and this outbreak that we've got now is 4 times bigger than all the others combined. There were some very small ones, however, that you may not know about. The biggest ones were about 300 or 400 people, but this one now is nearly 10,000 people. If you sum up all the previous 32 outbreaks, you get about 2,400 people. So we're about 4 times that size. Now, some of those outbreaks, the reason you haven't heard about them is that they were very, very small. They were lab contaminations, where things were released accidentally. In Russia, there were 2 deaths and 2 separate incidents of humans. There were 6 separate monkey outbreaks with lab animals. Now, the interesting thing about that is that in 2 of those, humans actually developed antibodies. That means that they were exposed, that they picked it up, either airborne or otherwise. They picked up Ebola in a small enough amount, but enough that it triggered their immune system. When you look at this, your key thing in surviving any kind of pandemic like this, whether it's Ebola or whether it's some of the more common viruses that are very dangerous nevertheless, the mystery viruses or SARS or MERS or any of these things that we see in the past, the key is your immune system. So you want to make sure that your immune system is in top shape. One of the ways that you can do that is to make sure that you have all the nutrients you need. Iodine X2, you can find that at InfoWarsLife.com. A great way to get yourself healthy and to build your immune system. And joining us now is Jakari Jackson. Jakari, what's going on in Canada? What's the latest development there? Has there been any new information?
Well, you know, we were watching this earlier before the show, David, and they had reports of a shooter running around the Parliament area. Now, Fox News are reporting that there are potentially multiple shooters, 2 guys jumping out of a Toyota Camry. It says multiple gunmen opened fire at the Canadian Parliament complex, shooting at least 1 soldier and spraying as many as 30 shots inside the government building just 2 days after a terror attack in Quebec shook the nation, officials said. And it goes on to say that there are multiple tweets going out, some by people who are claiming to be witnesses, some by police. But Bernard Trotter, a Toronto area MP, tweeted that the gunman inside the Central Block has been shot and killed. The other was reportedly being sought. So, you know, the story has changed since when we were watching it earlier this morning. But it's my understanding, David, when you go to these Parliament buildings, they have armed security as soon as you walk in the door. If you go to the Texas Capitol, they have armed security as soon as you walk in the door. So if there was some type of active shooter situation, you know, how do they respond to that? You know, this is just another example of the supposed Canadian gun control. While gun control doesn't work.
Exactly.
You know, because just like whether it's Christopher Dorner, the story that you mentioned earlier today about the young lady who was taken hostage by the bank robbers and ended up being shot 10 times by the police when they opened fire on the vehicle.
Yeah.
You know, it's not even so much bashing the cops, but, you know, the cops, they don't know what to do. Where'd the shot come from? Does that guy have a gun? Why is he wearing that heavy coat? They don't know exactly how to respond to the situation. But, you know, luckily at the Texas Capitol, if there is an active shooter situation, you can have your concealed carry and defend yourself from, you know, said attacker.
I think it underscores the fact that even with stringent gun control laws like they've got in Canada, the government can't even protect itself. They certainly can't protect you. And so whether or not this is a terrorist event, whether it's a false flag event, whatever it is, you need to have the fundamental right that we all possess as individuals. Just like I was reading in the last segment, the guy in Japan understands that you are essentially a slave if you don't have any means to defend yourself. And of course, in Japan, they actually try to control swords. It's not just firearms. I mean, they've got their own swords control, I guess. So, you know, we joke about that. You know, hammer control, I guess, is the next thing, you know, that they're going to...
Blunt objects, because, you know, people, at least in this country, they get killed rather frequently with hammers, blunt objects, you know, baseball bats, all that type of deal. But we'll keep an eye on this situation as it continues to develop. They say at least 1 soldier has been shot. We don't know yet if the gentleman has died, or if the soldier, I should say, has died. But
yeah, and I think when they said that they were shooting shots at the war memorial, I would assume that you know, it wasn't that he engaged the guy. Yeah,
it's a whole complex out there.
Yeah.
And then you know, some witnesses say, that, you know, guys are running down the street, they're running around the area. Is it potentially more than 2? We don't know. But as of right now, Fox News is reporting that there are at least 2
sounds very much like what happened at the White House, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
You know, the guy just jumps over the fence, is allowed to run all the way across the lawn into the White House.
That's the question they were asking on the major networks.
All right, so we're going to be right back. Thank you, Jakari Jackson, on that update as to what's going on in Canada. We'll keep you informed if there's any new updates on that. Thank you so much, Jakari.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We're going to be right back, and we're going to talk about the control of your
We're on
thought.
the mark.